morning, and welcome to First Unitarian Society of Madison. My name is Becky Burns, and my pronouns are she or they, and I'm a member here at this congregation, and I volunteer as a worship associate, helping our ministers to lead the service. Today, I'm joined by one of our co-senior ministers, Reverend Kelly Crocker, as well as the worship team of Linda Warrens, Drew Collins, Stephen Gregorius, and Daniel Carnes. And a special thank you to our society choir for contributing to our worship service today. Very beautiful. Also a thank you to all of those volunteering to make this service happen. We have Ann Smiley and Melinda Gustafson-Gervasi as our greeters. Hospitality is being offered by Jennifer Gaber, Jeannie Hills, and Mary Myers. Alyssa Ryanjoy and Teresa Kaufman and Nancy Daly are serving as our ushers. And today, both Jane Richardson and Lois Everson are serving as our lay ministers. Thank you all for making this service possible. At First Unitarian Society, we question boldly, listen humbly, grow spiritually, act courageously, and love unapologetically. If you are visiting today, welcome. We're so very glad that you're with us. And if you'd like more information about First Unitarian Society, please stop by our welcome table located in the Commons, out these doors and to the left. We hope all will be able to stay and join us for coffee hour immediately following our service, which also takes place in the Commons. For those of you joining us today virtually, we're glad that you're here with us as well. And we hope that you'll take a moment and watch the announcement slides after today's service to learn about upcoming programs and activities. And now on to an announcements. The Criminal Justice Reform and Racial Justice teams invite you to help make holiday greeting cards for UUs imprisoned in Wisconsin. FUS and Prairie UU Society are participating in the Worthy Now prison ministry of the UU Church of the Larger Fellowship. The Church of the Larger Fellowship is a UU congregation without walls. It's connecting people all over the world for spiritual growth, worship, learning, and mutual support. Its many ministries nurture depth and meaning in places as diverse as family dinner tables, prison cells, and military mess halls. Its Worthy Now program is a prison ministry network for people on both sides of those prison walls. Today, 1,800 Church of the Larger Fellowship members are imprisoned in the United States, 60 of whom are here in Wisconsin. So please join us after the service in the Commons to decorate greeting cards or write messages or address envelopes so that UUs in Wisconsin prisons receive some hope and kindness this holiday season. And one reminder about next weekend, that is the Sunday following Thanksgiving. We will only have one service on Sunday, starting here at 10 a.m. And now I invite you to take a moment to center yourselves and bring ourselves fully into this time and place as we join together once again in community.
We arrive carrying the familiar ache of not enough time, not enough rest, not enough certainty about what comes next. But here, in the space between one breath and another, something small and persistent whispers, "You are held."
We come from days that felt too ordinary to notice. Commutes and meetings, dishes and deadlines, the unremarkable hours that make up most of living. But buried in the mundane lie small miracles we walk past without seeing.
Some of us learn to count blessings on our fingers, others to whisper thanks to ancestors or earth or sky. We carry different languages of gratitude, different ways of recognizing what sustains us. All of them welcome here. And we invite you now to rise in all the ways we do and join in the words of affirmation as we light our chalice. Like the light from this flame which touches each of us, may our generosity connect us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality, as we covenant to freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources with each other and the world. Let us cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. And before we join together in song, please take a moment to turn and greet those around you.
Good morning. Let's raise our voices in song as we sing our opening hymn, number 349, We Gather Together.
Like to come up for our story to come on up front. Good morning. How's your morning? Hi. 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 It's good to see you guys. I missed you this week. How was your week? You won't be here next week. I won't be here next week either. So, skipping church, buddies. Oh, wait. Inside voice. Oops. Hi.
Will you be with your family, Kelly?
I will be with my family.
Are you going to the other side of the world?
Other side of the world? No, but next Sunday at 10, I'll be dropping a college student back at a Greyhound bus.
Are you sure you're not?
That's what I'll be doing.
Sure you're not going to fly macaroni to the other side of the world?
I don't know, flying to the other side of the world sounds kind of nice, maybe. With macaroni? Macaroni sounds better than the food you get on planes. Okay, good morning. You got to go on really long ones to get food anymore.
Are you sure you don't
All right.
want to fly pickles?
All right, so I have a story this morning that you may know. It is an older one and one of my favorites, The Last Stop on Market Street. CJ pushed through the church doors, skipped down the steps. The outside air smelled like freedom, but it also smelled like rain, which freckled CJ's shirt and dripped down his nose. He ducked under Nana's umbrella, saying, How come we gotta wait for the bus in all this wet? Trees get thirsty too, Nana told him. Don't you see the big one drinking through a straw? CJ looked for a long time, but he never saw a straw. From the bus stop, he watched water pool on the flower petals. He watched rain patter against the windshield of a nearby car. His friend Colby climbed in, gave CJ a wave, and drove off with his dad. Nana, how come we don't have a car? What do we need a car for? Nana asked. We have a bus that breathes fire and old Mr. Dennis who always has a trick for you. The bus creaked to a stop in front of them, and it sighed and it sagged as the door swung wide open. What's that I see? Mr. Dennis asked. He pulled a coin from behind CJ's ear and placed it in his palm. Nana laughed her deep laugh and pushed CJ along. They sat right up front. The man across the way was tuning a guitar. An old woman with curlers had butterflies in a jar. Nana gave everyone a great big smile and a good afternoon. She made sure CJ did the same. The bus lurched forward and stopped, lurched forward and stopped. Nana hummed as she knit. How come we always have to go here after church? CJ said. Miguel and Colby never have to go nowhere. Well, I feel sorry for those boys, she told him. They'll never get a chance to meet Bobo or the sunglass man. And I hear Trixie got herself a brand new hat. CJ stared out the window, feeling sorry for himself. He watched cars zip by on either side, watched a group of boys hop curbs on bikes. A man climbed aboard with a spotted dog. CJ gave up his seat. How come that man can't see? CJ whispered. What do you know about seeing? Nana told him. Some people watch the world with their ears. That's a fact, said the man. Their noses, too. That's a mighty fine perfume you're wearing today, ma'am. Nana squeezed the man's hand and laughed her deep laugh. Two older boys got on next. CJ watched as they moved on by and stood in back. What do the two older boys have? Can you see that? Yeah, it's the same dog. What do the two older boys have? What are they sharing there? Headphones, right? They're listening to something. Sure wish I had one of those, CJ said. Nana set down her knitting. What for? You've got the real live thing sitting across from you. Why don't you ask the man if he'll play a song? CJ didn't have to. The guitar player was already plucking strings and beginning to sing. To feel the magic of music, the blind man whispered. I like to close my eyes. Nana closed hers, so did CJ, and so did the spotted dog. And in the darkness, the rhythm lifted CJ out of the bus and out of the busy city. He saw sunset colors swirling over crashing waves. He saw a family of hawks slicing through the sky. He saw the old woman's butterflies dancing free in the light of the moon. CJ's chest grew full, and he was lost in the sound, and the sound gave him the feeling of magic. The song ended, and CJ opened his eyes. Everyone on the bus clapped, even the boys in the back. Nana glanced at the coin in CJ's palm, and CJ dropped it into the man's hat. Last stop on Market Street, Mr. Dennis called. CJ looked around as he stepped off the bus. Crumbling sidewalks and broken down doors, graffiti-tagged windows and boarded-up stores. He reached for Nana's hands. How come it's always so dirty over here? She smiled and pointed to the sky. Sometimes when you're surrounded by dirt, CJ, you're a better witness for what is beautiful. CJ saw the perfect rainbow arcing over the soup kitchen. He wondered how his Nana always found beautiful where he never thought to look. He looked all around them again, at the bus rounding the corner out of sight, and the broken street lamp still lit up bright, and the stray cat shadows moving across the walls. When he spotted their familiar faces in the window, he said, "I am glad we came." He thought his Nana might laugh her deep laugh, but she didn't. She patted him on the head and told him, "Me too, CJ. Now come on." The end. So what is that story about? What did CJ learn in that one, you think? Yeah.
Flying macaroni.
Oh, flying macaroni. What do you think that book was about? Nora, do you have an idea?
He saw all these things that were bad, but he found beauty.
He did find beauty, didn't he? He started out in the book saying, why don't we have a car? Why don't I have a radio? Why do we have to go do this? Why can't I just go home? He was only seeing what was wrong, right? And what was missing. And then what did Nana do? Nana helped him, just like Nora said. Nana helped him see what is beautiful all around. So I hope you all see something beautiful today. And I hope you have a wonderful time in class. We're going to sing you on out.
And watch out for Crocker.
Oh, you can make the world so bright, and you can turn the day from night, and share gifts and spread your light, and learn what you know. To know when you hear someone, to know when you smile, to know when you cheer someone. You have always known inside. A hand that touches one in need, a gesture any helping deed, and all can plant this caring seed. For kindness lights all. Now I invite you to once again rise in body and/or in spirit so we can sing together the hymn number 323, Break Not the Circle. Break not the circle of enabling love, where people grow forgiven and forgiving. Break not
Our inspiration today is entitled The Girl on the Bullard Overpass. The girl on the Bullard Overpass looks happy to be there, getting soaked in light rain, but waving her hands to the 4 o'clock freeway traffic, in which I'm anything but happy. You might think she's too dumb to come in out of that rain, but rain or shine, it doesn't seem to matter. She's there most every afternoon, as if she does this for a living. Some living, I'd say. Doesn't she ever get bored? Or wish someone would stop and say, "Where to?" And her life would change. That's how I'd be, hating the noise, the stink of the exhaust, the press of the people. I can't imagine what her life is. Mine is confused and often fretful, but there's something brave about standing alone in the rain, waving wild semaphores of gladness to impatient passersby, too tired or preoccupied to care. Seeing her at her familiar station, I suddenly grin like a fool, wave back, and forgive the driver to my right, who is sullen and staring as I pass. I find her in my rearview mirror, then head for a needed drink and supper. I don't know where she goes, but I hope it's to a place she loves. I hope the rain lets up. I hope she's there tomorrow.
In February of 2001, a story appeared in the Houston Chronicle about the great violinist Itzhak Perlman. It said that on November 18th, 1995, Itzhak Perlman came on stage to give a concert at Avery Fisher Hall at Lincoln Center in New York City. If you have ever been to a Perlman concert, you know that getting on stage is no small achievement for him. He was stricken with polio as a child, and so he has braces on both legs and walks with the aid of 2 crutches. To see him walk across the stage one step at a time is an unforgettable sight. He walks painfully, yet majestically, until he reaches his chair. Then he sits down slowly, puts his crutches on the floor, undoes the clasps on his legs, tucks one foot back, and extends the other forward. Then he bends down and picks up the violin, puts it under his chin, nods to the conductor, and proceeds to play. By now, the audience is used to this ritual. They sit quietly while he makes his way across the stage to his chair. They remain reverently silent while he undoes the clasps on his legs. They wait until he is ready to play. But this time, something went wrong. Just as he finished the first few bars, one of the strings on his violin broke. You could hear it snap. It went off like gunfire across the room. There was no mistaking what that sound meant. There was no mistaking what he had to do. People who were there that night thought to themselves, we figured he'd have to get up, put on the clasps again, pick up the crutches, and limp his way off stage to either find another violin or else another string for this one. But he didn't. Instead, he waited a moment, closed his eyes, and then signaled the conductor to begin again. The orchestra began, and he played from where he had left off. And he played with such passion and such power and such purity as they had never heard before. Of course, anyone knows that it is impossible to play a symphonic work with just 3 strings. I know that, and you know that, but that night, Itzhak Perlman refused to know that. You could see him modulating, changing, recomposing the piece in his head. At one point, it sounded like he was detuning the strings to get new sounds from them that they had never made before. When he finished, There was an awesome silence in the room. And then people rose and cheered. There was an extraordinary outburst of applause from every corner of the auditorium. We were all on our feet, screaming and cheering, doing everything we could to show how much we appreciated what he had done. He smiled, wiped the sweat from his brow, raised his bow to quiet us, and then he said, not boastfully, but in a quiet, pensive, reverent tone, "You know, sometimes it is the artist's task to find out how much music you can still make with what you have left." I love this story. I love this idea of a great artist reminding us of the beauty that remains in difficult moments. Perhaps that nugget of wisdom is why the story is still included in books and articles and sermons, even when we know it isn't true. Perlman himself has said he did not play a concert in New York on November 18th, 1995. Yet that final line that he did not say is told again and again because of the truth that remains in it. Sometimes it is the artist's task to find out how much music you can still make with what you have left. It is easy to be grateful when the sun is shining, when our family is whole and healthy, when our work brings us purpose, when the sunset stops us in our tracks with its beauty. It is not so easy when our world seems to be falling apart, when loss overwhelms us, when pain grips our hearts. Yet there is a power in gratitude that we do not often discuss. That is how the gratitude for what remains can be what holds us together. And discovering the music we can still make with what we have left can be the thing that helps us heal again. Ironically, gratitude's most powerful mysteries are often revealed when we are struggling amid personal turmoil, when we stumble in the darkness, rage and anger, hurl faith across the room, abandon all hope. Author Sarah Ben Brethnock says, "While we cry ourselves to sleep, gratitude waits patiently to console and reassure us. It is there to remind us of a landscape larger than the one we can see." Gratitude as a practice, as a discipline, cannot be something we do only when a happy song is singing in our hearts. We cannot wait until there is no war, no poverty, no injustice, no hunger, for we will be waiting, we know, until our very last breaths. We cannot wait until all is well and ordered to our own liking. What would it mean if we could look at the state of the world and our lives and choose gratitude as an act of defiance, a conscious decision to see what is happening, to see it all as it is, and to choose to say thank you anyway? The comedian and Late Show host Stephen Colbert, in an interview with Anderson Cooper, spoke about the loss of his father and two of his brothers in a plane crash when he was just 10 years old. He spoke of his mother's deep faith that helped her get through those incredibly difficult years. He said, "The example of her faith stays with me. That is, we are asked to accept the world we are given and to accept it with love. My mother would say, the bravest thing you can do is accept the world, whatever it gives you, with gratitude." Anderson Cooper choked up and said, "You told an interviewer that you have learned to love the thing that you most wished had not happened. You went on to say, what punishments of God are not gifts. Do you really believe that? And with a slow smile, Stephen Colbert said, yes, it is a gift to exist, and with existence comes suffering. There is no escaping it. I didn't learn that I was grateful for the thing that I wished didn't happen. It's that I realized it. I don't want it to have happened. I want it to not have happened. But if you are grateful for your life, which I think is a positive thing to do, and I am not always, then you have to be grateful for all of it. You can't pick and choose. And then what do you get with loss? You get awareness of other people's loss, which allows you to connect with that other person, which allows you to love more deeply and to understand what it is like to be a human being. I suffered something at a very young age, and by the time I was in serious relationships, I knew that everyone suffers. And however imperfectly, how to connect with them and how to love them in deeper ways because of that suffering. It's about the fullness of our humanity. I want to be the most human I can be. I am not the best human. But because of that deep loss, I can be more human than I would be otherwise. And I can see and recognize that fullness in you, too. The poet Mary Oliver once said, "Someone I loved once gave me a box full of darkness. It took me years to understand that this, too, was a gift." We know that loss and grief will accompany us all our days, and often we cannot see that box of darkness as a gift. Grateful living offers a place to sink safely into the truth of your tender heart. Gratitude can be a sanctuary where grief and love hold each other in close communion, and where you are reminded of your place in the larger family of life. The real spiritual discipline of thanksgiving is not to ignore suffering, but to fully acknowledge it, work to alleviate it, and yet still give thanks. It is to find reason for gratitude even in pain or chaos. It is to look deeper into the fabric of our world and see blessings where we thought none could ever exist. The poet Ellen Bass wrote, "The thing is to love life, to love it even when you have no stomach for it, and everything you have held dear crumbles like burnt paper in your hands, your throat filled with the silt of it. When grief sits with you, its tropical heat thickening the air, heavy as water, more fit for gills than lungs. When grief weights you like your own flesh, only more of it, an obesity of grief, you think, how can a body withstand this? Then you hold life like a face, no charming smile, no violet eyes, and you say, yes, I will take you. I will love you again." Years ago now, my colleague Rob Hardees shared a story about New York City that goes something like this. "New Yorkers," he said, "are not grateful people. Please and thank you are two phrases rarely heard on the island of Manhattan. If they are uttered at all, it is over the hushed counters of upscale department stores where women infer by expensive perfumes. Please and thank you, they're just the currencies of commerce, not gratitude. New Yorkers, it seems, are too busy to be grateful." That's why I find the story of Point Thank You so remarkable. Point Thank You is the name for a street corner in Greenwich Village, the corner of Christopher Streets and the West Side Highway, where in the months following the World Trade Center attack, New Yorkers of all stripes gathered to show their gratitude to rescue workers leaving the wreckage. Where tourists from Japan and Europe, children and elders, yuppies, the unhoused, all gathered to say thank you, to applaud, to shout, to yell, "We love you." It is where an exhausted iron worker from Florida stopped every night to share a cigar with students from NYU. Where Greenwich Village drag queens passed out bottles of water to firemen from Iowa. Even the fire department dogs pressed into service to find human remains, even they got treats from the crowds at Point Thank You. This demonstration of gratitude erupted spontaneously on the day of the attack and quickly gathered momentum. Websites emerged, volunteer coordinators sprung up. During the first few weeks after the attack, hundreds gathered around the clock to pay tribute to rescue workers. And at around 5 o'clock, when people got out of work, the numbers swelled even more. After a month or so, a solid core of a couple dozen volunteers rotated in shifts, maintaining a 24-hour presence at Point Thank You throughout the freezing winter. After a while, the folks became legendary in New York. The volunteers' tenacious commitment to gratitude throughout the frigid winter caused some in New York to refer to them affectionately as those nuts down on the West Side Highway. The volunteers claimed this epithet as their own. The thank you nuts, they started calling themselves. Fools for gratitude in a city that previously hadn't known what gratitude was. Those folks at Point Thank You knew that gratitude as a defiant act doesn't mean we don't see the struggle or the pain, that we ignore the destruction in this world, that we don't weep and mourn and hold the loss and devastation close to our hearts. It doesn't mean that the world or life would be better if we only saw the good and the beautiful and the lovely. The gratitude that gets us through difficult moments has to do with looking around to see what beauty remains, how the grief and the love dance within us, to see how much music you can make with what is left, to notice it and truly take it in. The world won't be perfect as a result, but it can be better. It can be kinder and gentler, if only for a moment. In many ways, cultivating a defiant, resilient gratitude, one that will hold us when we are struggling, allows us to tune in and lean in to our own hearts and the hearts of others. Grounding in gratitude for what remains, for what still sustains us, what is still here and good, for the gift of another morning and the ones who love us, gives us the strength to become present to the hurting world with compassion and curiosity and humility and generosity. We don't turn away in overwhelm over the enormity of the loss and the pain. With gratitude, we can open ourselves up to all of this life, allowing ourselves to be impacted and changed. As Tennessee Williams said, the world will have its way with you. We are saved only by love. Love for each other and the love that we pour into the art we feel compelled to share. Being a parent, being a writer, being a painter, being a friend. We live in a perpetually burning building, and what we must save from it all the time is love. Our gratitude during difficult times acknowledges that wonder and suffering live side by side. So do disaster and beauty. Grateful living reminds us of the preciousness of this moment, this world, and each other, It awakens our responsibility to protect the world, to fight for each other, saving time and again all the love we can. So I'll leave you with these words from the poet Ross Gay. If you find yourself half naked and barefoot in the frosty grass, hearing again the earth's great sonorous moan that says you are the heir of the now and gone, that says all you love will turn to dust and will meet you there, do not raise your fist, do not raise your small voice against it, and do not take cover. Instead, curl your toes into the grass. Watch the cloud ascending from your lips. Walk through the garden's dormant splendor. Say only, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. I invite you now into this time of giving and receiving, where we give freely and generously to this offering, which supports the work of our outreach offering recipient, who this week is Worthy Now Prison Ministry Network, a liberal religious coalition powered by the Church of the Larger Fellowship. And here's a video from Reverend Michael Tino to tell you more.
Greetings. I'm the Reverend Dr. Michael Tino, part of the lead ministry team at the Church of the Larger Fellowship. And I'm here today to thank you for your generous giving to our Worthy Now prison ministry. For over 80 years, the CLF has provided ministry to Unitarian Universalists who could not find a home in local congregations because of distance, barriers of ability, or other circumstances. When incarcerated Unitarian Universalists asked us if that also included them, we said, of course. It turns out, not surprisingly, that a UU theology that proclaims that every person is inherently worthy of love just as they are is a life-saving theology to people faced with daily dehumanization and torture in the U.S. prison industrial complex. Our inclusive theology affirms the humanity of queer and transgender people, often incarcerated in facilities that do not match their gender identity, often, too often, the targets of brutal violence. Our pluralist theology welcomes people whose theologies, humanist, atheist, pagan, Buddhist, and others, isolate and marginalize them in prison facilities dominated by conservative Christianity. As this life-affirming and life-saving message spread by word of mouth, our incarcerated membership began to grow. In 2002, we served 49 incarcerated UUs. In 2019, we passed 1,000. Today, the Church of the Larger Fellowship includes over 2,000 incarcerated UU members in 47 states across the United States. Each week we get a dozen or more applications or inquiries from people who have heard of the ministry we do. We fully expect our incarcerated membership will pass 3,000 in just a few years. Our Worthy Now ministry provides incarcerated UUs with vital touchstones and opportunities for spiritual growth and relationships. Once new members have completed a new UU course, they are eligible to be matched with a free world pen pal. Our pen pal ministry connects UUs all around the world with incarcerated UUs one-on-one. In addition, we provide pastoral care, classes, our CLF Quest monthly magazine, the 3 times yearly Worthy Now newsletter, birthday greetings, and holiday messages. New this year is a partnership with Beacon Press that will allow us to supply books to our incarcerated members for only the cost of postage. All of this ministry is done in a carceral system that tries its best to isolate and dehumanize people, to cut them off from their support networks. Because of this, our Worthy Now ministry is labor-intensive and costly, and as it grows, those costs are only going to increase. We at CLF provide this ministry on behalf of Unitarian Universalists everywhere, because we are uniquely positioned to do it, and we are glad to. We rely on our siblings in faith to volunteer to be pen pals and to send holiday greetings. We rely on your generosity as well to help fund this ministry. Thank you so much for your congregation's generosity. We are so glad to have you as our partners in this life-saving work.
There are many ways to share your gifts. Baskets will be passed here in the auditorium for cash or checks, or you can donate directly from our website, fusmadison.org. And you will see on the screen our text to give information. We thank you for your generosity and your faith in this life we create together.
We gather together each week, bringing with us the cares and the losses of our days. We share them here knowing they are held in love and in support. We light a candle of gratitude and memory for Jack Naughton, who passed away on November 15th. A memorial service will be held at the Oakwood West Chapel on December 13th at 11 a.m. We send our love to Jack's family as they miss him and mourn his passing. And we light a candle for all that is living in our hearts, the joys and celebrations mingled with the sorrows. May we know that we are held in love. If you'll join me now in a moment of prayer and contemplation with these words from Krista Taves. Source of all being, in which we live and breathe and have our being. We come together in prayer even though many of us struggle with what that means. We come together to be before that which is greater than us, although we struggle to say what that is. And so on this day, we pray for those things we struggle with, for the conflicts we feel within ourselves and between us and those we love. We pray for guidance, compassion, for the opening of a path. We pray for those things that give us joy and hope, for those things that we trust in, believe in, will sacrifice for. These are gifts of grace, and perhaps we need not define them in order to savor them, rejoice in them, and be thankful for them. What we do know is that we gather this morning with all kinds of needs, some facing physical problems in need of healing, others healing of a different kind. Some of us have family problems, some are weary with the struggles of life. For each of us, we speak the deepest prayers of our hearts in different ways, knowing that what it means for them to be answered looks and feels different for each of us. May we somehow this morning be met at the point of our differences and also in the places that we are one, of the same breath of life that courses through all living beings. May we always hold in our hearts gratitude for the things that bless us with their presence, forgiveness for the ways we have turned from our blessings, and the willingness to open ourselves anew to this beautiful and hurting world. Moved by the deep well of feeling that touches each of our hearts, we spend a moment together in reverent silence. Blessed be, and amen.
In the hymnal, our closing hymn is titled, "'Tis a Gift to Be Simple." The original title, however, was Dancing Song. Shakers is a nickname for a particular Christian sect that came about because of their ecstatic behavior during their worship services, including using dance to generate spiritual energy in worship. Dancing in worship. There are even dancing instructions in these lyrics: bow, bend, turn, come round right. "'Tis a Gift to Be Simple" is not a folk song. It was written in 1848 by Elder Joseph Brackett, a member and leader of 2 Shaker communities in Maine, including the Sabbath Day Lake Shaker Village, the only remaining active Shaker village today. During his life, Eldris Caroline Helfrich conveys a memory of seeing Elder Joseph singing this song, turning about with his coat tails flying. If you'd like me to describe the correct motions for this song, feel free to see me after the service. But for now, there is one dance move we may be able to do very easily. We'll stomp our right foot on the very last word, right. We'll sing the whole thing twice, so you get 2 chances at that. Let's rise in body and or in spirit and sing a great Thanksgiving song, number 16. A gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight, when true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed. Turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight, when true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed.
The good news they do not print. The good news we do print. We have a special edition every moment, and we need you to read it. The good news is that you are alive, that the linden tree is still there, standing firm in the harsh winter. The good news is that you have wonderful eyes to touch the blue sky. The good news is that your child is there before you and your arms are available. Hugging is possible. They only print what is wrong. Look at our special editions. We always offer the things that are not wrong. We want you to benefit from them and help protect them. The dandelion is there by the sidewalk, smiling its wondrous smile, singing the song of eternity. Listen. You have ears that can hear it. Bow your head, listen to it. Leave behind the world of sorrow and preoccupation and get free. The latest good news is that you can do it. Blessed be, go in peace, and please be seated for the postlude.